You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Okay, welcome. We'll call the Board of Selectmen meeting for July 24th, 2024. This is a special meeting of the board. Item 1, can I get a motion to go into executive session to discuss a strategy related to the proposed settlement from the town's insurance carrier concerning the damages in the Cook versus Shapiro et al. Lawsuit?
So moved.
Second.
Move second, and we will, for the record, invite in Attorney Adam DeFolvio for discussions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Move second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. For the record, no votes were taken while in executive session. We'll move to item 2, and I will make a motion that, I move that we consent to the settlement reached in the Cook versus Shapiro et al. Lawsuit. Can I have a second to that?
Second.
It's been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, thank you, attorney. Item 3, to consider and if appropriate approve a request from Brian Droney, lead tradesman, to waive the bid for the installation of 3-phase uninterruptible power supply at fire headquarters and award the contract to Power Solutions LLC in the amount of $33,403.62. This was the lowest quote received. Brian, just give an overview. You did secure, went out and did a spec, then went out and secured multiple pricing, correct? Which you provided.
Correct.
Anything else you'd like to add to that, or any questions regarding it?
No. No, this is,
So
this is the
essentially,
lowest bid, right?
it's the lowest bid. They went out, they actually had a spec written, it was distributed to some contractors, received, I believe, 3 quotes. This is the lowest of the 3, so we're just really waiving the advertising of it, but we, for all intents and purposes, went through a competitive process.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Move second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Item 4, to receive a report from Brian Droney concerning emergency repair to the air conditioning system at the Branford Police Department. Brian, you want to just give an overview of the scope? I will just
Yes.
add, actually, before you start, and give an overview of this, this system, although it says was to fail, we were going into the heating season. It's important to note that actually, prior to this installation, there were multiple times where the heat alarms were actually triggered. So to some degree, the unit was still operational, it wasn't maintaining the level of cooling that needed to be done in this server room. We're about to enter into, the hot season, and so therefore, we're going to an emergency at that time, because by the time we did a full advertising and bidding, but I will give Brian to go over the scope.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. What exactly happened. The unit has seen its useful life. We've been putting a lot of Band-Aids on it. That particular week, temperatures were going to be expected to be up to over 100. I was getting alarms at night that the room was actually getting over 80 degrees. So we brought in Branford to look at the project. They got a scope. In the interim, for the time that the material was getting ordered and being sent out, we brought in extra fans. We brought in a portable HVAC unit to cool the space down until the new equipment got delivered and installed. Dornfeld charged $22,700 for their part of the work, and the electrician to tie the unit in was $2,400, and had to bring a roofing contractor in to flash in the support columns on top of the roof for $2,150. And the unit was put online July 5th, and the portable units have been taken back to their supplier.
We'll also add, as many are aware, we will be moving forward with a police renovation project at the police department. However, it was discussed that these units will remain in place as a redundant measure for the future.
I guess that was my question too. Were we replacing one unit or two units that were in service in there?
2.
And the main HVAC system doesn't cover that room at all anymore?
No, there's 2 separate rooms.
Right.
And one each has a unit. They're 2015s. We've been putting Band-Aids on them, and then something else breaks, so we decided collectively to change them out.
Okay.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Move second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Item 5, to receive a report from Brian Droney concerning emergency repair to the air conditioning system at the community house.
Yes, the middle condenser on the VRF system number 1 went down again, and had to call in our preferred contractor that works on the VRF system to replace it. And unfortunately, the price came over $300 over my bid threshold, but that unit is back working. Very critical section of that part of the community house, because the second floor serves as a public meeting room for the elderly and for meetings at nighttime. And the basement section is also used by the rec department, and they have functions in there. So I had to get it repaired rather quickly.
And I would just add, we also note the community center as a cooling center during this, so
Yes.
the need for.
How old was that system?
They're in there, what, 4 years now?
Just over probably 5 years. 2019 was installed.
Okay. What's the life expectancy of those? Are they working overtime? Is that it?
No, there have been some issues with
Okay.
this, as well as, looking at some other mechanical projects with
Yeah.
these. And Brian has been working with the contractor to do some further investigation to see what caused that failure. We've actually had you can speak to the rep
The
fly
factory-
in and.
The
come in and
factory
check.
rep came out from Long Island and spent the entire day going over the system. I'm still waiting for the report to get back, what did he actually find? Why are we having so many problems?
I guess the only two things I see for the future, as important as that building is, and especially
Yeah.
as a cooling center, is are we going to have more failures with these other units? And if we're having these failures, are we going to get any rebate?
Well, that's what we're looking
Okay,
to
that's
address.
what-
Yeah,
yeah.
in
That's fine,
documenting
yep,
all that.
okay.
Thanks. Yeah,
Thanks.
Agreed. All right, so motion to accept the report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Item 6, to consider and if appropriate, approve a request for the bid waiver for a multi-year contract for in-car camera systems for the police department fleet and award the contract to Axon. This item will also require a favorable opinion from the Board of Finance. Chief?
Good evening. On behalf of myself, the department, and IT Director Debbie Murdo, who's away, is a request for a bid waiver for a 5-year contract with Axon. The total contract is roughly $279,000. It covers a 5-year span. And just to give you a little background regarding this, this is something that's been in the works for many years. First of all, it's state law that all our marked police vehicles have to have cameras in them, as well as body cameras for all the officers. So in going back and forth with Axon, the quote that they did provide is lower than what is available through the NASPO contract, which is roughly 9 different state contracts. There was some back and forth whether Connecticut was still part of that, and I felt that it was in the best interest just to come forward and not try to push it under a NASPO or a Connecticut state contract without your approval, because that is still in question, and they might be 6 months out before there's actual Connecticut state contract. However, NASPO has, like I said, about 9 different states that are on that. Line by line in the contract, in comparison to the NASPO contract, the bundle quoted price that they gave us is substantially lower than is what listed in those state contracts. Moreover, I feel it's important just to stress that this is a long process. This isn't something that was just overnight. This is years in the making, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time tonight, but just give you a quick overview of how we got here. So probably about 2019, we switched over to Axon as our body-worn cameras, the cameras that the officers wear. Very reliable. We've had nothing but great success with them. But more importantly, their evidence.com system is their cloud management, where all our thousands of files that we generate go to. It's a very redundant, very well secured, and very efficient system we use. We can share videos with court. We can respond to FOI requests right through this evidence.com. So our current body camera evidence or files are in the cloud. Our current in-car camera system is aging, and it's in a server. And I've been trying to keep IT at bay for many years, but we're at a breaking point where our current server is no longer supported. It's 2012 Windows. Matter of fact, I had them run an administrative report today. They could barely get into it. So the infrastructure on the IT side is vulnerable, and we're maintaining 2 systems. And our current vendor, their product, their cloud storage, we don't have interest because we don't use their body cameras, and this makes no sense from an efficiency and a cost-effective standpoint. So I also offer with that waiver consideration that I consider it almost an existing system at this point. And just to highlight, we have a 5-year contract with Axon for our body cams. That's 1 more year left in that contract, and we will be moving forward. So with that, I request a bid waiver for the price of the contract for the 5-year deal, and we will, if favorable, we'll be going to the Board of Finance.
How many cars is that going to set up for you, chief?
20,
20, okay.
20.
That's your entire fleet, right?
No, that's not the entire fleet. Those are all the marked vehicles that by law and by policy we have to have equipped. Our admin or detective vehicles don't have
You don't
them.
have to have it, okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, it's been moved, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, have a good night.
Item passes. Item 7, to consider and if appropriate, abate the taxes on list 9870191 Short Beach Road owned by hospice for the 2023 and 2024 tax years.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Item 8, to consider and if appropriate, approve a request for the place a Christmas tree at the supply pond. This is that annual request for the last few years. I believe the Parks and Open Space Commission requested that the request comes to the Board of Selectmen. We did approve it the last couple years. I know they put in a date of when they would install, plus a letter of removing it, I believe, the week after New Year's. It'll be removed by January 4th or 5th. I just remind the applicant that this is really limited to the tree itself, not any other decorations through the supply pond area. Any other issues we'll deal with
I'll make a
directly.
motion to approve.
Second.
All right, it's been moved, seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, item passes. Green use, to consider and if appropriate, approve the request from Branford Counseling and Community Services for the use of the town green on September 29, 2024, from noon to 4 p.m. to hold the annual Pat Andriel Family Day.
So moved.
Second.
Move second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, item carries. To consider and if appropriate, approve a request from the Branford Garden Club for the use of the town green on October 11th, 2024 through November 5th, 2024 to hold the scarecrows on the green.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item carries. Appointments, Board of Ethics, Timothy Llewellyn to fill a vacancy left by Peter Stolzman, term to expire January 30th, 2027.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Board of Fire Commissioners, Donald Conklin, to fill a vacancy left by Madeline Clem, term to expire January 31st, 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Branford Housing Authority, Lori Lynn Ross, to fill an expired term left by Mark Colello, term to expire April 30th, 2029.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nadeem Atta to fill a vacancy left by Kate Collins, term to expire April 30th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Move seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Forest Commission, Abigail Adams to fill a vacancy left by Patrick Sweeney, term to expire January 30th, 2027.
Motion to approve.
Second.
So move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Item 11, correspondence, email from Chris Drago. Dear Selectmen of the Town of Branford, I'm writing this letter to formally request that this is read at a town meeting and put into the minutes. I would also appreciate a response to my questions below. In regards to a sign posted above 2 Commercial Parkway at Branford, Connecticut, hanging from what locals call the Rock. It is actually hanging precariously from the cliff above the Chipotle restaurant. I am one of many concerned citizens who have questioned about this sign. There are many in Branford residents who want to know who is responsible for the hanging of this sign. Is it on public or private property? The large sign has been hanging in the spot for 2 months now. You know, I don't know if there's any other question. All right, I'll just read the whole one. I called the Branford Zoning Department on June 4th, 2024, and spoke to Jane Ellis, asking her these questions, and I am asking you all. On June 4th, 2024, she said the town had no idea whose property this area belonged to. She said to call her back in 2 weeks, and she may have more information. She also stated at the time she had Only heard from 3 other residents about the sign. On that same day, Ms. Ellis provided me a number for the management company for Montoya Apartments. They own the land above where the sign is hanging. When I called, they told me that they have received many calls from residents and local businesses asking if they hung the sign. They said, they told Ms. Ellis it was not on their property. Not sure why Ms. Ellis didn't tell me that, since she referred me to call Montoya Apartment Management Company. I also called the managers for the businesses now below the Rock, Chipotle, and Starbucks. They too have received calls almost every day from the public asking if they are property owners. They are not, and said they have no idea who placed it on the cliff. On June 6, 2024, I found some history on the Rock relating to rock slides that occurred before and after Starbucks opened in the area. It was a court case in 99, 2000. It was CSC Montoya Limited Partnership versus Branford Zoning Board and Sound Investors LLC, both the defendants. I have attached the judge's final verdict, a PDF. It states that Montoya was the property owner of the rock cliff. Please read his findings and what issues were at the time to motivate Montoya to sue the defendants. I emailed all this information to Ms. Ellis to help determine who is the owner of the area that has been placed on. That was on the June 6, 2024. I've called and left numerous messages for her since and have no responses from her until June 25th when she emailed me in part. I do not have any update on this as I have referred the sign to town council for review. From legal standpoint, once I have more information, I'll follow up. In all due respect, I find the reply unacceptable. Should take no more than a day to find out who pays taxes on the property. Does the town know who placed the rock capture netting on the rock area below the sign? It was from the town's Public Works Department. Who pays for this? Who is responsible for rock falls? Again, I refer to the legal case that was decided back in 2000. If it turns out this property is indeed private property owned by Montoya Apartments Limited, did they apply with the town for a permit to hang the sign? And in this area hanging from the cliff above the business, does it meet the town's size and scope of the order? Is it safe? If it turns out the public property, commercial, town-owned, did whoever hang the sign trespass? Should the police have been asking these questions for the last 2 months? Shouldn't someone in your capacity check into this? Why hasn't Branford Town Selectmen addressed this issue? There is no excuse as to why my other citizens' questions haven't been answered. If it were lewd, vulgar signage hanging in the cliff, I assure you that Branford Town Hall would, in an hour at most, find out who owns the property. At least this should be removed and determine who is responsible for hanging it. Looking forward to hearing back from the Board of Selectmen, Chris Drago. And he attached, as he stated, the case. What is clear that this is not town property, not, I think the question was in terms of where the property line actually falls because it was laying on the cliff. We do rely on GIS. But there is some variance within that GIS, so we couldn't give a definitive answer. I've seen that the sign has since been removed, but it was not a permanent sign, nor does it fall under the jurisdiction of the Board of Selectmen. I believe that kind of answers that. I don't know if there's any other comments. All right, moving on. Item 12, any other business? All right, item 13, a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.